Welcome to show number 6. For now, we're calling it Let's Hang Out. Do you mind if I paint? I'm Dan Wilcox, and I'll be painting for you for 30 minutes today. And I hope it's an awesome day where you are. It is a hot and sunny, typical summer day here in Central Florida. So it's steamy hot, and we may get some rain. Of course, that's our weather forecast till like Thanksgiving. So we got a ways to go. But let's just have some fun. I'll tell you what I've got. I will put all the colors we've got on the palette in the comments in the same order that we've got them here, starting over here with the white and just coming around. I've already got a 16 by 20 canvas. This is from Bob Ross ink, and so it is a double primed starch gray. And so when you put the liquid white on it, it really is a great way to start. And I'll test it for you. I've got some lotion on my hands. If you can see that, you do the test. You can still see your fingerprint through the white. That's where you want it to be. And so let me just rub those back out. So we are all set and ready to go. So, you know, I got to be out west last week at a coaching event, and I'm still painting wintertime. It's what I love to paint. One of the things I love to paint, and one of the it was funny. One of the guests there at the same hotel, she was not part of our conference. Very nice, very. Anyway, she's older than me, so I can call her a sweet little old lady. Go shuffling by, and what she says, I don't think she still knew I could hear what she was talking about. So I'm sitting there outside the Hyatt at Lake Tahoe on their little back porch painting. The little lady goes shuffling by, stops, looks at what I'm painting, and shuffles off with her traveling companion or friend, whoever there she's with, I don't know, and goes, "What the hell is he painting wintertime for? It's summertime." And so I just got such a kick out of that. But anyhow, so I thought we'd, I don't know, paint something more summery today. So we're just going to start with kind of a maybe a sunrise looking something yellow and orange, and then we'll put some blue in perhaps. Got to be careful putting blue in with the yellow. Why is that? Because we wind up with green, obviously, in our sky, and I'm not sure that we want that. So let's just start with some yellow. We'll start here roughly in the middle line of maybe where the horizon is, maybe just below it, because we'll probably put some stuff in it. And I love to be outside before sunrise. So let's just see what happens. So we're just gonna dance in some yellowy kind of colors, and man, the sky has been doing some crazy things these last few mornings. So kind of out in almost fingers of light that come just zinging through the woods. So I don't know if we're gonna have water in this one or not. So we'll just see what happens here. But line some of that out. Let's kind of darken that up a little bit. We'll add some more color around that. And we're just going to see what happens here. See what happens. So, have you picked up a couple of paints yet and painted along with me, or you good with just hanging out and watching? Either way is cool with me. Gotten a few excellent questions emailed through the website about some of the paintings that we've got going. And one of the best, that's not fair. One of my favorite questions that we've gotten so far is, and it's come a couple times, why do you smush? It looks like you've got like the paint drug out. Well, it just makes it easier to load, but it also keeps it from falling off your palette. If you just leave it squeezed right out of the tube, and if you looked at the floor here in my studio, you would see several bombs that dropped off. So great question. Thank you for submitting that, but that's the answer. So nothing more fancy than that. It makes it easier to load the brush, and it also keeps it from bombing down on your floor. So let's just kind of clean our brush a little bit. We'll do that down here, because like I said, we're going to put something, we'll put some woods or forest way off in the distance. Ooh, maybe we'll do a waterfall today. What about that? That sounds like a good idea. So let's kind of turn this a little more pink. We'll put some red in the sky. Because man, if you've seen the sky here in Ocala lately, we have had some incredible pink hues And you know what? We're just going to skip blue in the sky altogether. We'll say blue for the water and that sort of thing. How about that? Cool. All right. We need some more pink than that. And this alizarin crimson is strong enough to just eat up this yellow. So I'm being pretty cautious with my application onto the brush and then the canvas. So, you know, if we were just doing this with a blue, you can pretty well just bang away on that however you want to. But just being a little more cautious than that. Kind of like what we're doing there. Let's see how that's turning out. Kind of glary here with my light. Let's see if I can shape that away from it a little bit, because there's anyway, we'll tighten that up by the end and you'll be able to see that real well. But let's get a little more aggressive with some pink or red skies, and that'll help show that a little better on the camera there. There it goes. Those you can see a little better. Always easy to add more color. It is a difficult thing to take it off. So be gradual in how you choose to add would be my suggestion to you. But like with most of this style painting, there really is no wrong way other than to not give it a go. So let's get just crazy strong with this one. Why not? There it is. That's the color I was looking for. And we'll put a little pink down here in case we were catching some reflection and doing that waterfall thought. And we'll just see again, good way to clean the brush. And we'll just see what happens. So let's blend this a little bit, not a lot. Don't have to blend that a lot. But start down here in the yellow because I don't want to dilute that. And we'll work our way out. I just want to kind of knock that down a little bit. And with the liquid white that's already there on the canvas, it becomes pretty easy. Usually get a little brush of whack and knock off the excess paint you picked up there. And we're going to stick some clouds up here. Not tons of clouds. Boy, this morning I was out back with the dogs and there was the craziest, there were no clouds in sight, but they were far enough just outside of view that there was still a bunch of heat lightning happening. And I wasn't sure if it was the Navy bombing practice out in the forest or the UFOs were coming to get me. I wasn't sure exactly what was happening, but then I figured out it was heat lightning. It was really cool. Hey, do you know, can you see the International Space Station go by? Because every now and then it is dark enough and I see this, it looks like it goes horizon to horizon. And there's no flashing lights. Like we're right in the path of planes coming from the north down to the Orlando airport. So we see jets all the time. Don't hear them. Thankfully, they're still high enough up in the sky. But man, and I saw that this morning. I really think it is the International Space Station. And I just think that would be so cool. I love space stuff. All right, we got to get moving here. I'm not talking too much and not painting enough. So let's just take some straight white. Just going to use a 1/2 inch round brush. I like painting clouds with that because it's something that I can do pretty quickly, and I've been real pleased lately with the clouds that have turned out. And like I said, I'm not going to do a big ton of clouds in this one, just some floaters, some kind of passerbys. I'm going to do them all at once because I'm not doing many layers of clouds, and then I'm going to blend them and give them a little lift and a fluff and a little knockdown as we go here in just a second. Not too much over here because I left this pretty light and we wouldn't see much of that white anyway. So let's just get a little more right in there. And just thinking free, dancing around like clouds do. How would you be shaped if you were a cloud and you could actually pick it? Ooh, there's a good question. That's some, all right, let's give that a little blend. I like to blend sometimes with the 2-inch brush. I like to blend with a 1-inch brush. Just disturbing, just watching out for that top edge so I don't mess that up because we're going to pull some little stringies, and just using the top edge of the brush here. Top edge. Don't destroy your whole cloud there. That'd be a waste of all your effort. Just kind of give it a little stir until you like how it looks. Come over here, do the same thing. And just using that top edge so you can see where you're at. See where you're at. And come back, get that little wrap. We'll get that off of there and just, wow, just barely kissing it. You can hear me hitting the canvas. It may sound like I'm hitting it hard. I am not. It's just barely going by. You see those little stringies that it pulls up? Just helps give it a fluff. And then we'll come back. Yeah. Not too many clouds there today. Good. All right, so let's move right along. And how about we put our first row of trees way back here in the distance. So I'm going to take the 1-inch round brush because I love the shape that it gives us. And then we'll put in maybe a few little trunks and such. I'm just going into some straight Van Dyke brown. I'm going to hit a little dark sienna just so we lighten that up just a smidge, more or less dulling down the dark sienna. And let's just pick a spot to start. We'll just start out here kind of in front of the bright sunshine that we put in. And you can do this either way you want. You could go from the top kind of working down like I am. So I'm thinking that's the top of the tree and then it gets kind of blurry down here at the bottom. Or you could do it the other way. Let me show you that. You could start down here at the bottom where it's likely to be darker. And I just like to make a pass a couple times on trees. So it doesn't really, I've found I like doing it both ways, quite honestly. And it kind of helps me get some depth. Because now I've got that one in there. Come back with maybe just a little straight brown. And give this one a little more dimension, and it'll help separate it from that one we did first. See how it does that? And you can do whatever kind of shaped tree. I sort of have in mind that we're looking way off in the distance here at some big old oak trees. So maybe one's got a big old dome like that, and then we'll kind of fill it in. Maybe it's got some moss and some bright spots where the sun's coming through. You got no wrong way. And these are so far off. We're going to put some stuff in front of this. Push these way back. Way back. I do love those. Man, it just looks like a bajillion little leaves, doesn't it? And we'll just kind of make that a big tall one. And what'd you think? Did you like going up the tree? Or do you prefer coming down the middle? Again, I don't think it really matters. I've seen it done both ways. And for a big old giant tree like that, I don't think that tree cares either. He's been there a long time. But don't kill it all. Don't keep tapping it so much that you knock everything out. So let some of that light come through, and that'll just really help some depth there. And then you can kind of put a few little stringers on there. And just because I run out of canvas does not mean nature has run out of trees. So I always like to leave one straggling off and maybe even sneak over into a little black. Just, ooh, I like what happened there. Did you see that? Because this one's getting farther away. Maybe that one's even bigger. So, got some of that like that. What do you think about that? A little more black, a little more brown. Yeah, I like what we got going here. Let's do that on this side of the tree here. Then we're going to put a few tree trunks in here. Not a lot. Just some. Because we wouldn't see much of it from this distance, but what you could see would be pretty cool. Think like a tree. Been talking to trees more lately. Some of them are pretty smart. They told me you got to go talk to them, so I'm not allowed to tell you what they say. They'd like to have a word with you though. All right, so let's see what we got going there. Just leave that. We're going to grab some paint thinner, just so I can thin down some of this brown. Excuse me for a sec. I'm just going to sneak over here and put a few drops over here. Pick up some of my little script liner brush, and we're just going to make it super thin like ink. almost a watery texture again. Not looking for detail here, just looking for indication, because we are going to put some leaves and things right over these. So, best advice I can give you, Ada actually gave me a couple of months ago. She and Nick are the magnificent instructors over at the Bob Ross studio in New Smyrna Beach. Paint branches with your shoulder. So move it from up here. Don't try and do it with your hand. So let your shoulder move your whole arm. And as you practice and get some comfort with it, that will help you a lot. Because, man, I was really struggling with trees, and a lot of mine just looked like V's or pitchforks or different things like that. And man, when Ada said that in one of the classes I was over for, I was just like, oh, that makes sense to me. I get it. And boy, I tried it, and it has made all the difference. So again, not a lot of detail here. I really am not worried about how great these look as far as not looking like those letters I just mentioned. We're just getting something here so we can put some highlights on here. And we're going to put some stuff in front of these. And we are this far away, we would not be able to see many, if any, of these branches. So I do like to make a few that just sort of look like baby trees, or maybe we kind of have a forest of trees starting here. And we're going to put some stuff in front of these anyway, so don't send me any ugly messages about, Dan, you just messed up the trees. Well, you can send them if you want, that's fine. That's fine. If you don't like my trees, I hope you like your trees. I love painting trees. We may have to throw some big old evergreens in here, because I have been just enamored with painting. Well, Nick called them in class up trees, so I'll show you that when we get there. So we're just going to put in a few little twigs and sticks back here, just to give it some more stuff. Not a crazy amount, not predictable, not the same. And have a few coming in like that. Okay, so let's do some highlights and come forward. Maybe we'll have, I'm not sure yet. We'll see what we have. Let's get some highlights. What highlights you want to see on oak trees? How about some green? Let's see what happens. Let's take a little phthalo green, which is super bright. I'm going to mix that over into some sap green just to kind of knock it back a little bit, but I still want it to be kind of a neon-y green kind of color. I am using the same brush I used for the clouds, so I've still got some light in there. And so I've just mixed it on the brush. I'm just going to touch and see what I've got. And if it's not thin enough to stick or do what I'm looking for, then I'm going to add a little liquid white. I'm not ready to add paint thinner yet. I really like what we've got going here. So all I'm looking for is some hinting and highlighting there. And just making sure it's thin enough to come off. And so think like a tree. Don't just bang these in at random, and do not cover up all your dark. If you watch any of Bob's shows on YouTube, you have heard him say that a million times. You may be tired of hearing him say it, but there's a reason. He is absolutely 1,000% right. Do not argue with the master. That is not me, that's him. Whoops. Got crazy with my paint thinner. It's running down my hand now. Just get that taken care of. There we go. All right. Where were we? Getting a little more color. Yeah. And see, I like to do different trees at different times also, just so it helps me layer, because I will get on a roll and just start pop, 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 and then all of a sudden it looks like I've just got one flat side of the forest. And well, that's just not how it works. These trees have been living together and been buddies for a long time, so they would be overlapping. It'd be hard to tell whose leaves belong to which tree, not to mention we wouldn't be able to see them all. So Just kind of, again, think like a tree. You're going for different shapes. You'd see different ones. You're going to leave little dark spots in there like that. So leave a little bit so we can see that sunshine coming through. Yeah, I like what we got going on there. Let's brighten that back up with this phthalo green here. That looked pretty cool to me. How's that coming through on the camera? Can you see that? Yeah, that's working out all right. I think you can see that okay. And do that. All right, so let's get darker green. We're just going to the kind of further away side over here. See, when we remember to leave those little pockets of the dark branches and the light, that really just helps with the depth. So you can see way off there into the the background. And if you're painting along with me, that is what I have found for those who are shopping. If you are doing this to generate that happy buck, as old Bob liked to call it, the depth really helps. It just helps people kind of get lost, really puts a smile on their face. So that's really cool. When they're just in disbelief, well, you don't have to tell them all your secrets, but you can share with them some. So we'll just kind of do some underneath brush looking things there. And I am pretty pleased with what we got going there. So let's bring in some different shrubs. We'll kind of do a row maybe of I don't know, a grassy kind of area. So what color shall we do? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? How about we get some red? Let's bounce it into some Indian yellow. I like it when those two kind of combine. It gets a little bit orangey, gets a little crazy on the reddish side. Just tap this into the brush so you've got a nice little ridge of paint there on your palette, because you're going to have one on your brush also. And holy cow, just turn it loose. Let's just start seeing what happens. So we'll get some grassy looking things going in here. This will also help us with the lay of the land. Just how is this land laying here? And if it's too close and too sharp, just tap a little bit further. Tap a little bit further. I'm going to pick up my pace here a little bit. I didn't realize how long I've been babbling. And we are sneaking up on 25 minutes. And I really am hoping to keep this to close to a half hour today. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe a little brighter yellow. Some sun zinging through under that tree maybe. And I like to just kind of mix the colors up as we're just sort of figuring it out here. You know what, maybe I'll split this into two shows. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try and race through this. I'll stop this recording at 30 minutes here in just a little bit. And we'll come back with a part 2. I'll take a break, have a little sip of my immune boosting supplement. Love that. Delish. Very healthy. And then we'll sneak back in here and decide if we're going to do that stream or that maybe a waterfall. I'm kind of starting to feel a little waterfall might be happening over here. So we'll see what happens there. Now I do want to put some dark in here, and I'm only going to put dark in so I can have a little better luck with the highlights. Coming towards us, I wanted to get darker, and I've kind of just mixed the browns, hit a little black, got a little blue, and we're just going to see what happens, because we may just turn this into kind of the muddy, rocky part next to the river, or the waterfall as it turns out to be here shortly. But you can see the lay of the land is definitely starting to reveal itself a little easier to see there. And on some of these, this is again just dark, so I can put some light on top of it. And yeah, I think we'll bring in a little something like that. So where should we go? Where should we go? How about, let's go back to our alizarin crimson. We'll pull a little out, tap a little into it, and just give us some highlights here. So we kind of have a definite changing of the yellow to a darker in the shadow here. Let me get a little liquid white just to thin this up a little bit. I really want this to sit on top of our dark there. I don't want it to just mush it out. So just to thin that paint ever so slightly. Brightens it a little bit too instead of using the paint thinner. So let's see what we got. There we go. That kind of looks like some flowers now, doesn't it? A few different ways you can use the brush. You can hold it straight up and down. If you do, you want to load it just slightly different. Pull it towards you. Do more of a, get that curved top, and then just use that curved top to hit the canvas. I just don't want this to look too close to us yet. So I just want to be careful how I do that. But I do like pink flowers. Those are nice. All right, I'm going to start roughing in where that river, where that waterfall kind of thing is going to go. So, just hang with me. I'm going to go right into some phthalo blue because I can cover that if need be, but I just kind of want to start just seeing how this feels and where our waterfall parts are going to go. So we'll kind of bring the creek along this way, and then it kind of starting to look like it should have a little bit of a crash there going to me. So we're just going to go. And we're going to come back with some white and some things, and we'll kind of put in some rocks to hold that, and we'll have some other colors going there. So I kind of like that. Feels like it's going to have another little tumble off there, doesn't it? So let's say it's going along, and then so let's just go along and we're just going to keep building this out. All right, well, I am down to where I wanted to be for one painting. You can clearly see we are not quite there yet. So you want to hang through the break, look for part 2 to be uploaded here shortly, but we'll be back in just a minute. Well, it won't seem like long to you, but I'm going to go use the bathroom, get myself a little refreshing beverage, and show number 6, part 2, will be the next one.